Hi and welcome to another edition of Onside SA, where Budge and I are getting back into the swing of things because we've had our Nations League. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Nations League, Paul.
And now we're back to last one standing.
Yep.
And we've got Stevie B over in London and tell us what's happening. Let's just talk about last one standing before we go to the show topics with Steve. Is Steve still in?
Can you believe it? Yes. All your boys are still in. Even you still in.
Yeah, stay away from Tottenham. There's 375 left.
Yeah.
Mark Curry and Greg Veal, 10 each. Wow. And Toad favourite, Tubby Luck.
Well, he's our ex-manager, so he can handle the pressure. A lot of guys say to me, don't mention me on the show. It's a kiss of death, so Tubby can handle the pressure. So early Toad favourite, Paul, but obviously long way to go.
And it's just is it
Friday, this weekend? No
Saturday,
Friday games.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah. Most of the guys have used Chelsea, which is early 2:30 kickoff. So Man United or bust this week, it looks like.
Man United and you'll go bust. Right, let's see. Stevie, are you about?
I am. Good morning.
Morning, Steve. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
All right. Steve, lockdown, no problem with the players, so nothing's come about?
Sorry, what was that, Bud?
I'm just saying, with the COVID concerns and that with several of the clubs.
Yeah, look, there are. There's probably more out this weekend than there have been at any time.
Oh.
And obviously the most high profile we know is Mo Salah is out.
Okay.
But Connor Cody looks like he could be out. Doherty at Tottenham. West Brom have got 3 players. Look as if they're out. So it's, I guess, while it was rising generally in the population, I guess some of the footballers weren't going to be immune. But not, as I say, it's not going to stop any teams playing in the Premier League. But Liverpool could do without, with all their injuries, they could do without losing Mo Salah.
Yeah. Okay. Steve, I saw this morning about the substitutions. They're only keeping 3 in the Premiership. Is that correct? And 5 in all the other EFL leagues?
Yeah, it's. I was very surprised about this because, EFL seemed very keen. I mean, they obviously did this in the summer when we had the first lockdown, but that was done for the reasons that obviously they're playing in sort of slightly hotter temperatures, and they had the water breaks. It does favour those teams with the bigger, stronger squads, which is the reason why they're not doing it in the Premier League, because the smaller Premier League clubs have said this is totally unfair. The Man Cities of this world have got 5 world-class players they could bring on. So I'm surprised, but maybe they just feel that so the EFL obviously again have got so many more games than the Premier League, and maybe they think there's, I guess there's more injuries could be picked up playing so many in a shorter period. So I think that's the main rationale behind it.
There's a bit of logic there.
Yes, and look, at the end of the day, they're allowed to name, a lot of substitutes, and therefore, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. So we'll see. We'll see if it's, if we pick up less injuries as a result of it.
Yeah, Steve, I saw a stat from one of the ESPN guys. The 2 main advert guys who are complaining are Klopp and Guardiola about the substitutions. Now, Liverpool played Man City last Sunday. Liverpool made, I think, 1 sub. Man City made 2. So the arguments about 5 subs doesn't make sense.
Doesn't hold water. Yeah.
No. Look, we know that the bigger clubs, if they could, they would love to use, if City were trailing in a game or Liverpool were trailing in a game and they could bring on, 5 fresh players, I guess, it could change it. So, look, we might see. Look, we'll see how it trials with the EFL.
Yeah.
But again, I think for the Premier League do it, then obviously other countries. But depends if any other countries do it, and the Premier League could follow suit. But obviously they've decided against it for the moment.
All right, Steve. Talking about the Premier League, big game or one of the big games is Tottenham Man City. How do you see that going?
Yeah, I think it's going to be. It should be a really good game. At the moment, again, depends who's going to be back fit. Any little knocks picked up. Raheem Sterling could be a doubt. He wasn't available for the England games. On the Tottenham side, looks like Doherty's out. We know. I think it will be close. I think it's a game in the past. I mean,
where they playing
last season.
Yeah.
Well, you're not quite sure. I mean, if Tottenham fires, their front 3 as we know they can, then I think there's definitely going to be goals in it. I mean, I'm sort of thinking it could be a score draw.
Yeah, me too. I'm thinking a score draw. Tough game, Stevie.
Steve, one stat about Man City, their last 5 games, there haven't been more than 2.5 goals in any of the games, so they're obviously struggling for goals. And if you remember last season, they murdered Spurs, and then Bergwijn scored that volley.
Yeah.
So it's a close
tough
game,
close game, yeah.
Now the Jekyll and Hyde team of recent weeks has been Aston Villa. Get murdered at home by Southampton and Leeds, then go to Arsenal and totally outplay them. Can you see them beating Brighton?
Yeah, you would think so, although Brighton themselves, their best performances have been on the road. It's at home where they struggled. So, as you say, I mean, we just don't know what you're going to get from Villa. I mean, that was well beaten at home by Southampton, and then go to the Emirates and completely outplay Arsenal for most of the game. Jack Grealish has had a couple of really good games for England. Whether he was going to be tired or he'll be really fired up as a result of that remains to be seen. I think Villa should start as favourites. But as you say, you're not quite sure what you're going to get with them. So, if they play as they did at Arsenal, they play as they did against home to Liverpool, you expect them to win. But, Graham Potter's team are struggling a little bit, but they're not, they don't lose many on the road. So I think that's going to be close. But if anyone was to win it, I'd fancy Villa by 1.
Okay, talking about close, Arsenal, last 6 games, they've only won 2, as much as Arteta gets all the praise. You think they can upset Leeds at Elland Road? Yeah,
again, Leeds are a Jekyll and Hyde team this year. They saved some of their best performances on the road. Arsenal need to go and get a result there to keep pace with the teams above them. I mean, I think that was a shock defeat for them last time out. I fancy them to go there and get a result.
Talking of Leeds, I watched their centre-half. Is it Robert Koch? He played for Germany the other night. They got beat 6-0 by Spain.
Yeah.
Jeez, he was
nowhere.
Well,
they've conceded. I mean, Leeds have conceded as many goals as anybody. They've let in 17 in their 8 games. So defensively is where their problems are. They're scoring goals, but you think, they had a shocker at Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
So I fancy if Arsenal can, can fire, then I think they'll just edge that.
All right. Now, how are your boys Fulham? Who's going to take the penalty this week? Lukman again, or
hopefully we don't get one because it's embarrassing. We've missed 2, and then obviously if you look, Mitrovic, who missed one of our penalties earlier against Sheffield United, he missed the crucial penalty for Serbia against Scotland and got dropped the next game. So. It's going to be a tough game. I mean, Everton, we know, have lost their last 3, but Richarlison is back.
Yeah.
I understand James Rodriguez is fit and back. So I think if we got anything out of the game at all, would be a bonus.
Well, you'll score, Steve, because that Pickford can't keep a clean sheet. Now, last but not least, is Liverpool against Leicester City, Sunday night. What's your call?
Well, look, I mean, it's with Liverpool, it's more a case of who's fit rather than who's out. I mean, they've got sort of something like 9 or 10 of the squad are out injured. It's going to be a tough one because Leicester have saved their best performances away from home.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite sure who Liverpool are going to play at the back because obviously they're just racked with injury at the moment. So, and without Salah up front, but I think, obviously Jota can step in. I think it'll be a close game. Liverpool can't afford to lose this, but I think this is the sort of game that you would have said previously, look, Liverpool at home definitely going to win it. And they haven't lost at home, as we know, for 60-odd games. But I think this is going to be a really tough game for them. So, I think, they could edge it, but it depends how if Leicester play with the sort of verve and attack that they did at City and Leeds, I think it's going to be a really good game.
Let's hope so. Steve, on to the Championship. I think the original favourites were Bournemouth to strike back, come straight back up. They're at home against league leaders Reading.
Struggling Reading.
Bournemouth.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is, the Championship has been hard to call.
Yeah.
There's been, Reading obviously had an exceptional start, which we didn't expect, and now they've lost 3 in a row. I think Bournemouth will win that. I think, they did lose surprisingly recently, but I think they'll win that, and then that will put them sort of above Reading, in fact. So I'm going to go for a home win there.
Okay. Now, Wayne Rooney, it sounds like, is taking over Derby County, your interim manager. They travel to Bristol City, are going well. Any chance Rooney gets off to a winning start?
I'd be surprised. I mean, they're bottom for a reason. I mean, obviously, you do get a bit of a bounce with the new manager, but Bristol City have, after a good start, had a little slip. They've come back with a couple of good wins. I fancy Bristol City to win that.
Okay, now two of the top teams going well, Middlesbrough, Norwich City. How do you see that going?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a tight game. I mean, Neil
Yeah.
Warnock, one thing you know with him is he tightens things up, and actually they've got the best defensive record. They've only let in 5 goals in 11 games. I mean, they don't score goals, but they don't let them in. So I think if they're able to keep sort of Pookie and his team quiet, I think it'll be a very low-scoring game and no more than 1 in it. But to say they don't win many, Middlesbrough, but they are a very hard team to beat. So I wouldn't be surprised it's a low-scoring draw there.
Yeah, unbeaten in 10. Millwall, Cardiff City. The Cardiff City manager, is he not the top goal scorer in Millwall history?
Yeah, Neil Harris.
Neil Harris, yeah.
The Cardiff manager Neil Harris is going back to his old stomping ground, Millwall, where he was manager. Left Millwall last season and went to Cardiff. So maybe, obviously there's no crowd there to wind him up, but that'll be a tough game for Cardiff. They really haven't started as well as I think people expected after last season. And Millwall, as we know, are very hard to beat. So I think that's going to be a close game. Mill, I think, might just edge that.
Okay, and last but not least, your brother's team, Watford. I've tipped them to win the league. Are they going to come and bury me this weekend at QPR?
I think they'll win. I think they'll be a bit too strong. QPR are a very funny team. I mean, you just don't quite know what you're going to get. They had a good win recently with a last-minute winner, but I think Watford could go there and get a result.
All right. I see Tony Pulis is back at Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, so...
Negative Tony Pulis.
Yeah, so look, you know what you're going to get with a Tony Pulis side. He's going to get them working very hard. I think they'll hopefully, from their point of view, he'll make them harder to beat. I don't think you're going to be seeing lots of expansive football, but the position they're in, you sort of joint bottom, they need to pick up points. So, I think that they've got every chance now of sort of staying up because, as I say, he knows how to get results.
And they've got a Preston who've lost 5 games at home on the bounce. So hopefully that changes. Disgraceful. Steve, pressure time again. I need your best bet and your best value bet, please.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I'm going to go for Stoke City. I just think at home,
Stoke City, okay. And your value bet?
Well recently.
Yeah, well.
I'm going to go for Bristol City. I think at home, against the team bottom of the table, near the bottom of the table, I think it's a bit early for Rudy and others to turn it round there. So I'm going to go for Bristol City.
Steve, the bad news is I'm on the same team. Stoke City is my best bet. So
oh, really?
Great minds think alike, hopefully. Yeah.
Fools never differ.
As we know, it's been really difficult to call in the Championship.
Yeah, it has,
there have been some crazy results.
Steve, do you want to show your cards early with last one standing? Who are you going for?
I think it's United this week. I'm sorry, Budge. I don't want to curse them, but I think, especially, I know United have got players out, but if West Brom have got 3 key players out, all self-isolating, I think United should be too strong.
Steve, our first ever last one standing competition, we've gone about 7 weeks. We had 11 guys still left. And Man United played West Brom at home. Mourinho was in charge. Darren Moore just taken over at West Brom. You know what happened?
What happened?
West Brom won 1-0. United 1-16. We had one guy who hasn't entered since, who was on Man United. I still think he's deflated. But they do look good things, but hopefully you're right.
Yeah, well, you'd expect it, but then, as we say, it's unpredictable. Look, even last time out, Tottenham scraped a last-minute winner. West Ham, as well. You could have decimated those left. So it's. I guess the one thing that we've been this season is there have been some crazy results, and you can't. It's been hard to predict, and in some respects makes it sort of quite exciting because you're not expecting the big teams to roll everybody over every week. So I think that's.
All right, Stevie, all the best.
And
thanks very much. We'll talk soon.
Lovely.
All right,
Take care.
Bye. Stevie.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Right, Budge, let's get on to this Premier League fixtures now. And you can give me your opinions on them. They should go on the screen any moment now.
They kick off Saturday lunchtime, Newcastle, Chelsea. It's got to be Chelsea, Paul. Since their goalkeepers come in, they're a decent team. They're unbeaten in 6. Mendy, Newcastle, there's always goals there. They can't keep a clean sheet. It's got to be Chelsea, Paul.
Okay. Aston Villa.
It
Brighton.
should be Aston Villa, Paul, but
I
you
think
know,
tough game.
It is a tough game. You know, Brighton have played well. I fancied them at they drew 0-0 at home against Burnley. They were all over them,
Yeah.
but they just can't score, Paul.
Okay.
So Aston Villa, Grealish, boys are on fire.
Who's the boy from Chelsea?
Ross Barkley, you
Yeah,
know,
he's
but they're
a
a
good player.
Jekyll and Hyde team. But
Yeah.
there's always goals in that, Paul.
Yeah.
Got to side with Villa though.
Spurs, Man City. I'm predicting a draw, but because we're at home. But Man City are always a good team, you know.
Paul, they're a good footballing team. It just depends. I doubt Aguero's going to play. So
Yeah, we got
20
Doherty out.
You know,
and, I was worried that down the left they were going to play Sterling.
Yeah.
And
He could
Ori
be-
will be torn apart. So I think they're bringing Tanga in.
Yeah.
He's
no,
back.
Mourinho, this is what he's made his career on. Nice and tight, give nothing away in the middle of the park. Look to catch City on the break, but City a lot
Be a
better.
good game.
Should be a good game. Let's hope so. I hope Mourinho doesn't try and park the bus. But, Paul, I think 29-10 the draw is a great price.
Me too. I agree with you. Man United are 1-3.
Paul,
They
we have
should
to be
win.
that price. If we
Who's
can't
missing
win
from
this,
West Brom?
Paul, I don't know. It
I
shouldn't
don't know.
really matter.
Yeah,
But,
you're right. It
you know,
shouldn't
if
really
United
matter.
can't
Who's
win
missing
this,
from United?
Paul, you know, we've
Just
got
the
so
left
many
back.
players, left back. But Tellez, I didn't see if he played the other night for Brazil, but he'll come in.
Who?
Tellez, a Brazilian guy we got, good player. He played when we beat PSG in Paris.
Okay.
Played well, good player. I think he's
All
better
right, we
than
tip
Shaw.
Man United
Paul,
then.
Man United can't win at 1-3. Ollie will be at the bus stop.
Can Fulham burgle a point?
I think so,
I think
Paul.
so. I think it's a
Paul,
draw.
you know, you look at Everton, the
They're
goalkeeper's woeful.
They're going backwards.
They've conceded 2 goals, I think, in the last 5 games. You know, you just got to sling it on him. I watched
Yeah.
him at Preston. I've seen
Yeah.
it many times. He can't catch anything. But Richarlison's back. And
He's a
he's
good
for me,
player.
he's their best player.
Yeah.
So I think there's plenty of goals in this, Paul. I think
Good
I like
game.
Fulham. Yeah,
Yeah, me
the
too.
2
I'm
teams.
on the draw. Okay, let's go. Sheffield United, new boss.
Paul, they can't buy a result, Sheffield United. They can't score. But this is a game they could surprise because
They've got a
West
bit
Ham
of
were
point.
lucky against Fulham last week. They were really lucky. And, you know, Paul, if ever Sheffield United are going to win one,
Yeah,
this could
okay.
be it. But I think the draw's a player.
Leeds are going to have a go at home.
Yeah, Paul,
Jeez, have a go. Eh?
I just think the Rocket Man, as he's
Bucket
known,
Man.
Bucket Man,
Man.
yeah, Bielsa. I think he's got to change his tactics. You can't keep playing like they're doing. They're going to get caught at the back. Arsenal caught United trying to play that way. If they try and be clever, 12-10 Arsenal's a great price. But I don't trust them. They've cost us money, especially at home. The last 2 weeks, they've got no fight in them. This could be another draw, Paul, 27-10.
Liverpool, Leicester City, good game.
Paul, you know, the last 30 games, Liverpool have won 29 and drawn 1. The game that drew was Burnley. It knocked me out of the international last one standing I had on. But if ever there's a team that can catch Liverpool, it's Leicester. Vardy will be sitting at the back there. Well, I think
They've got some good players, Leicester. But
Liverpool score goals at Anfield. He's going to play 4 or 5 up front, which he has to. Paul, 9-10 is a big price, Liverpool.
Okay, I'll circle that.
Yeah.
Burnley, Crystal Palace.
Paul,
again. Wouldn't buy a ticket for this.
Yeah, I know. Paul Burns, this is my value bit of the weekend. I watched them against Brighton. They showed a bit of heart. Ben Mee's back. Yeah, the blonde boy at the back.
Ben Mee,
Lot of fight. If ever there's a game they can win, it's this. Crystal Palace scored 2 goals. I think it's the last 8 away games. London teams coming up north. They've really been disappointing, Burnley. But if ever there's a chance for them to win the game, this is it, Paul.
Okay.
Yeah, you saw their performance against Spurs. They didn't deserve to lose.
No, they played
against
well.
Chelsea, they were terrible.
Yes.
This is a game. I don't fancy Palace on the road. Burnley can't win this. They're in serious trouble.
Wolves, Southampton, be a
It
good
should
game.
be a good game, Paul.
Yeah, be a
Main
good
game
game.
Saturday night.
Is Ings still out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Che Adams scored, I think he's 28-10 to score. Paul, they're the form team. They've won 5 and drawn 1. They play in your half. They don't try and play much football. Yeah, Wolves, I don't know what to make with them. You know, I fancy them. They're unlucky against Leicester in the last game with a penalty. Another game, Paul, I think 22-10, the draws a player.
Let's go to the Championship, Budge.
Yeah.
Interesting. This is very muddled.
Well, you just can't get a grip to it. Now, the first game is played at Birmingham City, even though Coventry are the home team because they share the ground. I saw 12-10, over 2.5 goals. Coventry, there's always goals, Paul. Mark Robbins. I fancy Coventry are the 2 teams. 19-10 for me there.
Friday night, huh?
Friday night. Yeah, the Saturday lunchtime kickoff, Bournemouth.
I like Bournemouth.
Should be,
Reading are
Paul.
gone.
Last three, the
But
last three
getting
games.
well beat now, yeah.
Well beat, but it's got to be Bournemouth. Only thing is their best midfield player, Lerner, played for Colombia in midweek.
Yeah.
Good player, but 7 of 10.
You get it right. He's just a learner, you know. So when he got his learner license,
Yeah.
Hey, good player.
Good player. Should be Bournemouth, Paul.
Yeah. Barnsley Forest.
Oh, Paul, this has got draw written all over it. Since our man Chris Houghton took over Forest, I think it's 3 wins, 3 draws, and 1 loss.
They're
But Barnsley
a long
don't
way
get
down
beat
the
too
log.
often. Now they've got a new Israeli manager, Paul. There'll be a tight game. Under 2.5 goals for me. 22 to 10 has to be a play of the draw.
Bristol City Derby.
No, it has to
Rooney.
be Bristol City. You know, Rooney. The only game I think they've won is they beat Norwich and they were taking Rooney off with 5 minutes to go. Then they got a free kick. He bent it top corner, but they've been woeful. The only decent performance has been at Nottingham Forest, which is the Brian Clough Derby. Paul, 12 to 10 Bristol City. You know, it looks
All
a
day
good
long.
bet. Yeah.
Luton Blackburn.
Yeah, I like Blackburn, Paul. Over 2.5 goals. I saw 11 to 10. Every week they score goals for fun, but they concede for
Who
fun.
are the team who got docked points?
That was Sheffield Wednesday.
Sheffield
They
Wednesday.
was originally
It
12,
was
now it's
cut
down to
off.
6, yeah.
They'll survive.
Well, they should do. That's Tony Pulis' team. He's taken over
Yeah.
there. They come with a Preston. But, Paul, I think I like Blackburn, but goals is my play in the top game.
Okay.
The next game, if ever there's a 0-0 draw looming, I think it was 11 to 2.
Norwich have got to score, man.
Paul, you never know. Middlesbrough last 10 league games, 4 wins and 6 draws. Don't give much away. 5 goals, I think, in the 11 league games. Norwich have come right, Paul. 5 wins and 2 draws. But this is going to be a tactical, tight affair. 23 to 10, the draw has to be the play. Millwall Cardiff, another game which will be tight. You know, I like Millwall. They don't get beat at the Den too often, Paul. So it's Millwall in the draw for me there. My boys Preston, Paul, we've played 5 games at home. We've scored 1 goal. We've lost all 5. We can't turn it around against
Who's the
Sheffield.
boss?
Alex Neil, the guy that was at Norwich. Well, this is our chance. I wouldn't take 13 to 10, but our recent away form's been great. But Sheffield Wednesday, that's Tony Pulis. He'll come and park the bus,
He'll
look
park
for the
the bus.
draw.
He is
A draw's
so
a player.
negative, sure.
22 to 10, the draw has to be a major player.
Okay.
Last page, I like Watford, Paul. Took 6
So
to
do
1
I.
them to win the group. QPR score goals, but I like what you know,
Yeah,
especially
I like
SARS
that.
there.
Are they
as
all
long as
back? Is Troy Deeney back?
Well, he's in training, Paul. The keys for Watford is don't sell any of those boys in the January window. They
Don't.
keep them all. I think they're automatic
Come
favourites to come up. I like Watford at 13 to 10.
You obviously
Stokes
love
my
Stoke,
best
yeah.
bet. Yeah, Huddersfield had a great run under Bielsa's right-hand man. I think it's Carlos Carberon or something. But at Stoke, I like Stoke. I think they'll be in the playoffs. Swansea, they should beat Rotherham, Paul. Swansea don't concede many goals,
Yeah,
especially at home. Rotherham, always tight games, but Swansea should be too good. And Brentford, who are now sponsored by Hollywood. You know, they
Hollywood Bets.
Hollywood Bets has sponsored Brentford. Yeah, 5 to 10. Wickham are struggling.
Wow, Hollywood Bets are big, eh?
Yeah. Well, just hope they don't put this book into Brentford. But they've sold their 2 best players, Brentford. Ollie Watkins went to Villa.
Who's managing them? Toby Lucken from
No.
Hollywood Bets.
1 or 2 smacks and Tubbs could get the job. But
Tubbs
it should
get
be
the
Brentford all day, Paul.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at the PSL fixtures.
Yeah, Paul.
You know, funny enough, I went up to horse sales
Yeah.
and I met Jessica Matone, Kaiser's daughter,
Kaiser's
who
daughter.
runs the marketing for,
Yeah,
for
clever
them.
woman. I think she's a lawyer.
She's a wonderfully smart woman and
Yeah.
erudite, articulate, wonderful person. I spent about half an hour talking football. You know, we had players we knew in common, of course.
Yeah.
Gavin, Mark McCobb, she knows well, and,
Yeah.
and Gordon, you know, all them. So we had a long chat. Very, very interesting. She's dipping her toes into the racing game,
Okay.
which is good to see, you know.
Yeah.
But what a wonderful woman.
Yeah, I've seen her on TV, Paul.
Yeah,
Very
she's
smart, you're right.
Very smart woman. And she told me that we have to give Gavin time.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Yeah, she said she's trying to tell everyone, you know, the supporters get antsy.
Yeah.
She said this, he can't move, he can't buy, he can't do anything. He's doing a good job, but they must give him time.
Well,
She's
I think
very,
it's-
very together.
I
This
think
woman.
Chiefs are going to be like Chelsea. Remember they did transfer and buy, they couldn't buy players. You had to look at all the young players. Got rid of a lot of players, dead weight, kept them. Now you look at Chelsea. I know they've bought a lot of players, and the same will happen with Gavin at Chiefs.
Yeah, well, she's very aware of the situation. She's
Yeah.
very aware of the league. She's in charge of all their marketing and sponsorships, and she does a
They'll
wonderful
come right,
work.
but it won't be this season.
Yeah, maybe not, but
Maybe a cup late on.
it was
but
great to meet her.
Yeah, good.
All right, let's go and have a look at Black
Paul, they're
Black
both
Leopards.
struggling. They both lost their 3 games. Yeah, 19 to 10. The draw's a giveaway. You know, it's hard to win in Toyonda, north of the country. But Maritzburg, Eric Tinkler, They did well. They got beat by Chiefs in the MTN 2-1 unlucky, but they've lost 3 games on the spin.
Yeah.
So both don't get beat, Paul. I think 19-10, the draw looks the right play.
Yeah. Golden Arrows against the mighty
Well,
Chiefs.
Chiefs can't score, Paul. You know, they're struggling as...
But
you know,
they
have played
Jessica
well.
and I were talking about Gavin's introduction. The Sundowns, Pirates, Pirates. You know, this is a...
The Golden Arrows always sit and wait. They're playing this at Sugar Ray Kulu Stadium in Claremont.
Yeah.
But I think there'll be goals in this. Gavin's going to go for it, you know, but... I don't know, I just can't have Chiefs. Rather let them win. I think the draw's another player, Paul.
I'm a new Chiefs fan. I'm on Chiefs. I'm on
you
Chiefs.
and Jessica.
Myself and Jessica,
Okay.
we're on Chiefs. Okay, Stellenbosch Chipper.
Yeah, I like Stellenbosch. They haven't won a game this year, but they've been competitive. But so have Chipper. Paul, another game, I can't believe the draw's 15-10. If I had to side with the team, I would side with Stellenbosch. I like the job Steve Barker's been doing.
Okay.
But Chipper aren't the worst of teams, Paul, but a draw... And I fancy Pirates to beat Supersport.
Do you, eh?
Yeah, I like Pirates, Paul. They don't give much away at the back. I think there'll be goals in it, but I've liked what I've seen from Pirates. Supersport.
You going Pirates, eh?
Yeah, you know, since they lost Dean Furman, they've lost the brains in the middle of the park. They've still got good players, but he was the man that Xavier Roll made them tick, Paul.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to miss him big time.
Swallows versus Galaxy.
I like Swallows, Paul, of all the teams. I watched them play. They drew 1-1 in their first game. I was really impressed with them. Yeah, it'll be a tight game.
Don't
TS
follow
Galaxy.
me, follow the birds.
Follow the birds, yeah.
Follow the birds.
I think there's 2 wins and a draw. They're sitting 3rd place. I think 12-10. In our PSL games, I think they're good things.
Okay, Cape Town City at home.
Well, I watched Bloem Celtic. They're in the final of the MTN 8. They can play. They murdered Sundowns in the quarter-final. I don't know if the players have got the eye on the cup final or not, but it won't be easy for Cape Town City.
So you're tipping Bloem or tipping the draw?
I'm win and draw Bloem Celtic for me there, Paul. But it's a 1-2-3. Anything's possible there.
Sundowns top of the league.
It should be, Paul.
Heba Usutu.
Yeah, they signed a lot of players, but you don't win in Pretoria, especially against Sundowns. They look like they're on a mission this year. Yeah.
TTM.
Shakuma Mudzi, that's the team that...
Playing Baraka.
Yeah, they play Baraka. I like Baraka. I watched them play the other day. A lot of good young players. They're second, 2 wins and a draw. You know, Baraka for me there, Paul.
Budge, thanks very much. That's very good assessment.
Yep.
As I say, I'm the new Chief supporter.
New Chief supporter. I'll get you the shirt.
Let's go on to the Sock Sixes. What you like.
Exotics. Yeah, well, I banked Chelsea to beat Newcastle. I've thrown the draw in with Bournemouth and Reading, even though I fancy Bournemouth. I've gone Aston Villa win and draw at home against Brighton. I've gone the field in the Middlesbrough-Norwich City game. Likewise, the Tottenham and Man City clash. United should be too good for West Brom, 2-1-6.
Okay, the next one.
Second one is the PSL, one banker and 5 win and draws with a premiership game thrown in. I'm going Chiefs, win and draw at Golden Arrows. I'm going Black Leopards, win and draw at home against Maritzburg. I'm siding with Stellenbosch to avoid defeat at home against Chipper United. Orlando Pirates, win and draw at home against Supersport United. I don't see Man City losing at Tottenham, even I think it'll be a draw.
You're very myopic.
And I'm going for Morocco Swallows, my banker, to beat TS Galaxy 192.
Always go for the team that's higher in the league, but Tottenham.
Man City, you could have a game in hand.
Yeah, they got a game in hand, that's right.
On to the soccer 10, I'm going Kaiser Chiefs win and draw at Golden Arrows.
Can't lose.
I'm going Black Leopards win and draw at home against Maritzburg United. Siding with Stellenbosch to avoid defeat at home against Chipper United. I had to find a banker, so I'm chancing Aston Villa to win at home against Brighton. Real Madrid, even though Ramos pulled a hammy in midweek, I don't see them losing at Villarreal. On to our second page, I'm going Orlando Pirates, win and draw against Supersport United. I'm going Man City, win and draw at Tottenham. Bankering Morocco Swallows to beat TS Galaxy, Man United to beat West Brom, and I can see an upset. Atletico Madrid, win and draw at home against Barcelona, 256.
Okay, the big one.
On to the soccer 13 here, I'm going Man City, win and draw at Tottenham. I'm bankering Man United to win at home against West Brom. I'm throwing the draw in with Aston Villa at home against Brighton. I don't see Middlesbrough losing at home against Norwich. I fancy Blackburn Rovers to avoid defeat at Luton Town. I fancy Nottingham Forest to at least get a draw at Barnsley. I fancy Millwall, win and draw at home against Cardiff City. Our second page, I'm bankering Watford to beat Queen's Park Rangers, bankering Bristol City to beat Derby County. I'm hoping my Preston North End boys can avoid defeat at home against Sheffield Wednesday. I'm bankering Stoke City to beat Huddersfield, Swansea City to beat Rotherham, and ending up with banking Hollywood-sponsored Brentford to win at Wycombe Wanderers, 256.
All right, let's clear your bets, Budge.
Yeah, on to our bets, Paul. I'm going Chelsea to win at Newcastle and over 2.5 goals. I think 18-10 Burnley's a great price on Monday night at home against Crystal Palace. And Jamie Vardy's 12-10 to score any time against Liverpool. I think that's a gift. 3,200 to 200. On to our championship quad. I'm going Stoke City to beat Huddersfield Town. I'm going Watford to win at QPR. And going over 2.5 goals in the Friday clash between Coventry and Birmingham City. And Luton versus Blackburn Rovers. 3,300 to 200.
Right.
On to our team goals only. All these teams must score over 1.5 goals, at least 2 goals. I'm going Aston Villa against Brighton. I'm going Fulham against Everton.
Fulham got to score 2.
Yeah, I think Liverpool will score at least 2 against Leicester. And I fancy Burnley Monday night to shock the world and score at least a couple against Crystal Palace.
Okay.
Both teams to score sides are Aston Villa Brighton, Fulham Everton, Leeds United Arsenal, Liverpool Leicester, and Wolves Southampton. 11.5 to 1, 2,300 to 200. Our PSL quartet, I'm going Morocco Swallows to beat TS Galaxy. I'm going Baraka FC to beat Shakuma Matsi, or TTM as they're known. And I'm going both teams to score in the Golden Arrows Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates versus Supersport matches. 19 to 1, 3,800 to 200. Our Collis King, 6 or Nixa. I'm going Chelsea to beat Newcastle. Man United to beat West Brom. I'm going Stoke City to beat Huddersfield. Bayern Munich to beat Werder Bremen. Going Juventus to win at home against Cagliari. And David Silva's Real Sociedad, who top of the Spanish Liga, to win at Cadiz. 2,400 to 200.
All right, we've got some chances there, Budge.
Yep.
And all set for last one standing.
Last one standing, all the picks will go, all the reminders will go out today, the previous picks and so on. Several guys have come through. It's not hard to work out what they're on, but Man United or bust, Paul.
Yeah, it looks like
That's what it looks
there's
like.
going to be a match on Man United, and they've been woeful at home. But until next time, stay on side.